Hello, and thank you for joining me. I'm your retirement guy, and I'm here to help you achieve a comfortable retirement. I did it, so can you, and I had a late start. So before we start with the question, which is, do 401k plans really work? Can they provide you with a comfortable retirement? Before we get started, before I give you the answer to that, I want to give you a little bit of the background of these plans and the history, and that goes back to the 1970s when some tax accountant or lawyer discovered that there was a loophole in the tax law that allowed one to have a plan. It was a deferred compensation plan where you can put money in and not pay any taxes on it and let it compound. And then when you retire, then you would pay the taxes on it. And this became known as a defined contribution plan. And that is in contrast to what's called a regular pension, a traditional pension, which is called a defined benefit plan. I happen to have a defined benefit plan. I have other things too. I had a 401k plan that I rolled over into a IRA. I have other IRAs. I have Roth IRAs. I have a lot of different things. But I do have a traditional pension. And so I could tell you a little bit, I know from experience what they could provide. Now, for the employer, this was a no-brainer. I mean, of course you would want to offer your employees a 401k plan, because in a 401k plan, it's the employee who's putting in most or all of the money. It's the employee who's taking all the risks. And the employee is guaranteed nothing. Whereas in a traditional defined benefit plan, it's the employer who's taking all the risk. It's the employer who's putting in all the money. So it's a no-brainer for the employer. So you would think, and I would feel that way, well, why would you want a 401k plan? You know, when you could have a traditional plan, if you could have one. Well, it was very amazing that they became very popular with younger workers. Younger workers liked the idea of the defined contribution plans, these deferred plans, because they were not like their fathers. They're not going to stay in a job and work for a company for 30 years for a pension and a gold watch. They're going to move around. They want to move around and where the opportunities are and jump around. And this way, they're able to bring their savings, pension savings, retirement savings with them to the next job or roll them over into an IRA with a brokerage company. So they don't lose anything. In fact, in their mind, they're gaining something. Because in a traditional pension, you have to stick around 30 or 40 years and you can get laid off and get nothing. Or the company could go bankrupt. So they became very popular. And particularly in the 1990s, you see them becoming, taking over the retirement savings landscape. Now, before I answer this question about whether they really work, I want to tell you about a concern that I have about them. And my concern is that they're just too easy to withdraw money from. You could just take a 10% penalty and take all your money out, or take a lot of money out of your 401k plan. And people do it. And nothing to stop them from doing it. You can't do that in a traditional pension. You can't take money out, basically, until you retire. Also, with a 401k plan, you are able to borrow against them. I mean, in most cases you are, not in every case, but most companies let you do it. And you can borrow up to 50% of what you have in the plan, and or $50,000, whichever is less. Now, that's a lot to borrow against, and I say in most cases, people never pay it back. Because if you had to borrow 50% of what's in your your 401k plan, you probably need the money desperately and probably in a very bad position to pay it back. So I'm really concerned about that. I'm concerned about it. It's just too easy. And the same like Social Security. If you look at Social Security, if most people could take out borrow against their Social Security or withdraw their contribution to Social Security, they probably would. They probably would. And at one time, I probably would have done it too if I could have done it. So I'm very concerned about that aspect of 401k plans. So now let's see how they're actually doing. Okay, well, Vanguard, as you know, is a very big financial company and manages lots of 401k plans. And they did a survey, a study, where they have determined, this was in 2023, excuse me, and they decided that the age between 55 and 64, now that's the age just before retirement, that the balances were pretty low. For the average balance at that age level, 55 to 64, was $207,874. Okay? That's the average. Now, you may think that's a lot of money, but it really isn't when it comes to retirement. But what's more disturbing is when you look at the mean, not just the average, the mean is $71,000, $71,168. $71,168. Okay. That means half of the people in these plans at that age, which is near retirement, have less than $71,000. Well, that's not going to do it for you. I'm afraid to tell you that. So what I need to see are balances where people are near retirement, where they have $1 million or more. Yes, that's what you need, $1 million or more, and not just from high income earners. You know, not you're making $200,000 or more. Yeah, you could save the money and maybe have that $1 million when you come to retire. But the people in the lower wage brackets, that's where I need to see that high balances. And I'm not seeing it now. There Again, one of the problems we have is that these plants haven't been around that long. They've only been, there aren't that many people who have been in them for 30 or 40 years. So we could say, yeah, well, somebody was in it for 40 years and they had a comfortable retirement. They had a balance of $3 million, $2.5 million, $2 million. So we just they haven't been around that long. But for you, that's on a macro level. For you, on an individual level, this is the only thing that may be available to you. And I think they can work, and they should work, and they have to work. And you have to make them work. You have to save consistently. You cannot borrow against them, and you cannot make withdrawals, or else they're not going to work. So let's hope that they work for you. You know what you have to do. I'm sure you're going to do it. And I wish you a lot of luck. And again, I had a comfortable retirement. I think you can have one too. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.